right, now it's time to put what you've learned into practice by clicking on the Data Types Day 2.1 Code Challenge. In this challenge, the idea is that you're going to be given a random 2-digit number, so something like 39, and your code that you'll write will be able to add the first digit to the second digit and end up with a numerical result. So, for example, if the input was 39, then 3 plus 9 would be equal to 12. So the output would be 12. And if the input was 26, then your code needs to print 8 to the console. So you're going to need to think about type checking, type conversion, as well as everything that you've learned before. And then you're going to write your code below this line without changing any of these lines. So pause the video now and give this code challenge a go. All right, so how did that go? Did you manage to do it? If not, have a cup of tea or give yourself a little bit of a break, think about something else, and then come back to it and try it again. If you've already given it a good go and you want to see what the solution might be, then follow along with me. So the first thing we know is that we're going to have a variable that's going to be equal to a 2-digit number. But remember that that could mean anything. That could mean an integer, that could mean a floating point number, that could even mean a number as a string. So it might be helpful to actually find out the data type of this 2-digit number that we get. And to do that, we of course use the type function, or lowercase, and then in between the parentheses, we add the thing that we want to check. So it's this variable. And then let's go ahead and print the result into the console. So now let's run our code and let's type a 2-digit number, say 56, and we get the result that the type of this 2-digit number is a string. Because of course, we're getting hold of this through the input function. And the user could be typing anything into this input, a string, their name, or a number. So now that we know that this variable has the data type string, then we can think a little bit about what we know we can do with strings. We can subscript strings, right? So if we had a string like hello and we wanted to get hold of the first character, we could put 0 there, and when I print this, we'll get H being selected out of this string. So if we know that we can subscript strings to get hold of a particular value at a particular position just by using subscripting like this, then we can do the same with our 2-digit number. So we could say 2-digit number, let's get hold of the first digit. So let's call it first digit equals 2-digit number, square brackets 0. And then the second digit could be 2-digit number, square brackets 1. Now, when I go ahead and print these two items, first digit and second digit, then you'll see that if I enter a number like 87, then my first digit is 8 and my second digit is 7. So now I can probably start thinking about adding those two digits together. For example, we could say that result equals first digit plus second digit. But of course, when I run this right now and I print the value of result, you'll see that for a number like 87, what I will get is just 8 concatenated to 7, which turns it back into 87, which is not what I want at all, especially after all of my hard work separating out the digits. What I want to do instead is to turn each of these, which currently has the data type of string. So I can demonstrate that to you by saying type of first digit. You can see it is a string. So if I could only change first digit and second digit from string data types into an integer data type by using the type conversion that we learned about in the last lesson, well then, once I do that, then this plus sign has a whole different meaning, because now it's going to add this first digit to the second digit instead of concatenating it. So now if I go ahead and print the results, then you'll see that for the same number, 87, my result is now 15. I've now managed to achieve what the code exercise wants me to do. So did you manage to get it right? If not, go ahead and have a look at the model solution, and I've written some comments for each line of code that walks you through each of the steps. Now notice that instead of converting the second digit here, you can also do it up here, like what you see right here. So have a play around with the code, especially if you struggled with this and didn't manage to get it right. And then once you've understood what's going on here line by line, if you need, have a look at the previous videos, then go back to the code challenge and attempt it again. And only once you're happy that you really understand everything that was covered in this challenge, then head over to the next lesson where we're going to talk more about mathematical operators like the plus sign and others that you can use in your code. So for all of that and more, I'll see you on the next lesson.